Hi, my name's Bo Stewart,
I'm Austin Doherty.
And I'm Ashley Graves.
and we did our presentation on employee and market diversity.
Our question for this project is, why is promoting diversity important for corporations? The world is more globalized than ever before, and companies are reaching into many different nations to expand as much as possible and hiring from increasingly diverse backgrounds. The companies that succeed in today's economy are the ones that embrace this reality and are able to not only accept it, but use it to their advantage. America is not the same country it was years ago. There are much more diverse people, beliefs, and culture that exist in American businesses. As a result, companies in the United States are choosing employees from a much more diverse employee pool to fill its workforces. When employees are drawn from a diverse pool, companies are gaining individuals with a lot of different insights, skills, and backgrounds, all of which can have a profound impact on the current and future success of a company. So why, you might ask, is it important for companies to emphasize diversity, and how does it relate to the long-term success of a company? There are many reasons for why diversity matters, but one of the greatest is that it brings about financial success. Diversity can also be seen as a strategy that companies use to create a more competitive advantage amongst other companies and create loyalty amongst both employees and consumers. Costco is a good example of how diversity can affect and improve a company from the inside out. Costco promotes diversity in all sectors of its business, including employee, consumer, and supplier. Specifically, Costco prides itself on promoting diversity in two main sectors: employee and supplier. Costco believes that their employees should experience an environment free of any type of discrimination. It never considers factors such as race, origin, ethnicity, or religion at any stage of the employee. Diversity is welcome and accepted. Welcoming and accepting diverse employees ensures high employee satisfaction and low employee turnover. To further answer why promoting diversity is important for companies, we can look at how Costco prides itself on supplier diversity. Costco's mission statement states, Costco is committed to providing opportunities to a supplier base as diverse as the communities we serve. So why do such a thing? Costco believes that a diverse supplier base is important, and by creating partnerships with certified minority and women-owned businesses, they are able to bring a new approach to business and build good relationships with the surrounding community. They even have what is known as a supplier diversity program, which in essence welcomes diverse suppliers and companies and helps make selling products at Costco easy. So in essence, what is the importance of hiring from a more diverse employee pool, and why does Costco value diverse employees? Well, according to a recent Bloomberg article, Costco was praised for the following. It treats its employees well in the belief that a happier work environment will result in a more profitable company.
Advances in technology, communication, and infrastructure, coupled with changing worldviews, has created a world that is much more interconnected. This phenomenon of interdependence and connectedness that is bringing continents and countries closer together is commonly referred to as globalization. As globalization becomes more and more evident, countries, people, and markets drastically increase their interaction and dependence on one another. Knowing this, it is becoming increasingly important and valuable for large firms to be able to expand into these new diverse foreign markets. Otherwise, firms miss countless opportunities to increase their influence, profit, and performance. Firms that are most successful at integrating into these vastly growing foreign markets around the world are those that study, incorporate, and embrace diversity. One example of a company that is famous for their implementation of diversity practices that enables them to successfully expand into new foreign markets is Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola quickly recognized the opportunities that developing countries offered and began placing much more focus on entering global and foreign markets before many of its competitors. However, Coca-Cola experienced difficulties during its early expansion attempts. After facing difficulties entering the massive bottled drink market in India in the 1970s, Coca-Cola began rethinking their market entry strategy. Coca-Cola's new market strategy is oriented around the implementing practices of inclusion and diversity. This is reflected in Coca-Cola's mission statement to mirror the rich diversity of each marketplace they serve and enhance the company's social license to operate through practices of inclusion, fairness, and diversity. In an interview conducted by Strategy Business, which is sponsored by the Harvard Business School, Ahmet Bozer, president of the Coca-Cola Company in Eurasia and Africa Group, stated that the Coca-Cola Company implements strategy of thinking global but acting local whenever entering or maintaining local and foreign markets. Over the past several decades, Coca-Cola has been very successful in their effort to expand into new markets and countries. Coca-Cola's success in this realm is primarily due to their ability to implement and incorporate several practices of diversity and inclusion. When entering a new market, Coca-Cola works hard to research the market trends and desires of that market's consumers. However, they also include input from the market by tailoring current products to the new market's preferences or creating a brand new product through both taste and looks specifically for that market based on the feedback that they receive. Coca-Cola also works to localize their products by partnering with local businesses and by hiring from a diverse pool of applicants made up of local and non-local employees. Coca-Cola places special interest when entering a new market to hire employees for leadership positions from that market's local area and country. Lastly, Coca-Cola focuses on fostering a culture of unity and collaboration between different markets through frequent communication and a joint decision-making process between markets. Coca-Cola is one of the world's most valued companies due to their ability to expand into so many different markets and countries. What has made Coca-Cola's expansion so successful is their emphasis on diversity and ability to implement practices of diversity and inclusion into their company's business model. These practices and strategies have allowed Coca-Cola to successfully expand into over 90 emerging markets in over 200 countries, who together provide them with 80% of their company's sales. However, not all companies place emphasis or implement practices of diversity. As a result, those companies are less likely to be successful.
Companies that started in the US are having to reach elsewhere in order to expand their business. Coca-Cola is a great example of this. Walmart, while being the largest retailer in the US by far, does not have much of a foothold internationally. In addition to this, Walmart has come under heavy fire of litigation from cases to do with gender discrimination in the workplace. So, a successful company looking to expand internationally would follow the example of Coca-Cola or some fast food companies that have adjusted their business models in order to better fit the markets they're moving into, in order to better attract customers. A failure of this example, such as Walmart, either doesn't change their business model or adopts a business model that simply doesn't work in the new market. So, where they've failed. The first example is India. Walmart partnered with a company called Bharti Enterprises to set up retail locations in India, but a combined lack of interest, as well as Walmart's not wanting to comply with an Indian law that states that 30% of their sourcing has to come from small or medium Indian-owned businesses, as well as strained relationships between the two companies over legal investigations, meant that Walmart cut ties with Bharti and ended their project. They continue to operate a few of those retail locations that they opened, but not very successfully. Another example is in Russia, where Walmart tried for 6 years to get a foothold by acquiring a local retail chain, but eventually had to give up, close their office, and come home. The next example is Germany, where Walmart was able to successfully open stores, but failed to adjust their local customs once again. Germans did not like people handling their groceries at checkout, but Walmart didn't adjust. Also, Europeans tend not to like mass retail market and favored short trips to local markets instead, but again, Walmart did nothing to address this. Another example is in South Korea, where they were able to open stores but did not market very well. They focused heavily on electronic sales in their marketing push when moving into Korea, but what South Koreans actually desired was a food and beverage store. Now on to Walmart's legal troubles. Companies like Costco make employee diversity a main priority, and not only are they better off for it economically, but they also avoid costly legal issues that arise when a company fights diversity. For example, in 2006, 6 former employees filed a class action lawsuit against Walmart for gender discrimination in the workplace based on salary, bonuses, and training. The lawsuit went on to represent 1.5 million women, and this made it the largest gender bias case in U.S. history. The case eventually made it to the Supreme Court, but was ruled not to be a class-certified case at that level. This meant that women in the future would have to sue Walmart individually if they wanted to seek retribution. More recently, a former pharmacist that used to work for Walmart is suing them for wrongful termination based on gender discrimination. Another example that has more recently come into the news is that Yahoo is currently being sued by a former employee over gender discrimination. His claim is that the new performance review process instituted by CEO Marissa Mayer is being manipulated to target male employees in order to wrongly justify termination. Now, this suit is currently in progress, so we don't know the final outcome of it, but it is a great example of what can happen when companies fight diversity in any way. So, in conclusion, it is imperative that companies put heavy emphasis on diversity practices. Costco is a great example of how to promote employee diversity, and Coke is a great example of how to handle moving into diverse markets. Walmart is a great example of how not to do either of those things. Thank you very much.